Did you test the mics?
Okay, if anyone is here, hello, Johnny, can you hear us? Just want to make sure. Ah, excelente. Pull up the other chat window. All right. Well, to start, glad to be back. We were gone for nearly 2 months, and it was a long trip. There's a lot of flying. We're tired of flying. We want to wait a while before we do that much flying again, but it was fun. We did have a good time in Europe, so it was it was worth the frustrations involved with travel, especially traveling under the weather. We weren't feeling very well. But anyway, questions. If you have any questions about our trip, feel free to ask. We'll answer any of them. Questions about future plans, questions about Ecuador. Some crazy news just dropped, so we'll talk about that. But to start, I did want to speak on us kind of missing home, which is here in Ecuador, while we were gone. Of course, being in Europe, we weren't missing anything being in Europe because it was the first time we had been there. It was fun. We were having a good time. By the time we got back to the States, we spent about 3 weeks in Europe, almost 3 weeks, yeah. When we got back to the States, about a week or so after being in the States and, seeing people that we need to see and doing the things that we wanted to do, you start to kind of miss your own home and the place where you live. For us, obviously that's Ecuador, and we were missing it a bit. LaShawn, was there anything in particular that you missed while you were in the States? Or was it just generally having your own place?
Well, I would say I miss just sitting out on the balcony,
Yeah.
where I am majority of the time, but just doing my own thing, not having to have deadlines that we were on to complete certain things, not just constantly doing something all the time. It was just when we go to the States, there are times we're there for appointments or who knows, It just seems like that's the only thing I miss, basically.
Yeah, just being able to relax
sit and relax.
Yeah, doing what you want. I know I started to miss it, especially we were trying to get a lot of paperwork done for our visas, and that can be kind of time consuming. Not to mention that when we first got to the States, Sean was still sick. I was a little under the weather, and so for the first several days, we really didn't even see anyone or really go anywhere. And once that was over, we were able to kind of start working on the stuff we needed to do. It was just like it was just something to do every day, and we had gotten to the point where we weren't used to having something to do every day. And we were in the States for a month, and it's like it's constant. You know, it's whether it's obligations to maybe see friends or and family, or appointments. You know, I had an appointment like a few days after we got there. It's just the multitude of things, and then driving. We definitely don't miss driving everywhere. We really don't. We rented 3 different cars while we were in the States, and we realized how annoying it is to have to get in your car and go places.
Yeah. Because everything is so spread out.
Yeah.
So you're in one city, you're in another city. It's just.
And everything you got to do is in another city, and it's paying for parking. Like I was just everything that you kind of take for granted living in the States. You know, you realize how much it just takes up extra time in your life. Because I know for a fact we must have spent half the time in the States in a car, driving somewhere, doing something, or sitting in traffic.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. The majority of the driving we do here is just, not the majority, all the driving we do here is on our scooter. Otherwise, we get in a taxi or a bus. And like I said, we don't miss having a vehicle. Now, we're not putting it out of the realm of possibility that we may have to get a vehicle one day. I totally understand. But yeah, it was just annoying. We realized how we were just annoyed having to get in that car and go places like every day. Although I don't mind getting in the vehicle and going to Chick-fil-A because I love Chick-fil-A. And that was one of the first places we went when we got to the States. But yeah, coming back was kind of a relief for me, and I know it was for her a little bit because we got to just kind of chill out, no real obligations, nothing really holding us down to any schedule or anything like that. So yeah, we kind of really appreciate being back, honestly. As far as being here, if anyone is here who's never been to Ecuador or tried to live abroad, it is a lot different than living in the States. Immediately coming back, it just felt different. It's weird, and you kind of have to get back into the mode because you get that reverse culture shock when you go back to the States after being away for a while, and have to kind of get back in the mindset of, oh wait, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to work. I don't have to get in the car, go anywhere. I can walk down the street. We need to go to the pharmacy or the store. Everything is kind of within walking distance, or if not, it's within bus distance. So yeah, we're just really glad to be here. Hold on.
Okay.
I gotta scroll it down. There it is. Yeah. How you feel about it?
Yeah, Salinas feels like home. It has everything that we need. We can, excuse me, like Steve was saying, we don't need a car. We can walk to most places because it's in walking distance. And it's very convenient.
Yeah. And this is obviously where we live, so we're gonna make it home one way or another. It's just the weather's great. Now, I will say compared to last year, it's much warmer and sunnier in July than it was last year. It was cooler and a little more cloudy this time of year last year, but the weather's weird this year. But we don't really mind. Instead of windows open 24 hours, windows open 18 hours. So that's the only real difference. I see your friend has joined the chat.
I can't pull it up.
Oh yeah, you gotta there's a delay. So
Yes,
there
I
it
thought it should be on that. Hey, Joe. I got your message. We'll talk about that later.
Hey, what's up, Joe? So, yeah, questions. Please ask us questions. Ask us questions about Europe, Ecuador, living abroad, budget. You know how we do it. Whatever. Go ahead and ask. You don't mind. I just saw another one pop up. It's gonna take a second because there's a delay in it. One thing we did miss while we were gone is Ecuador prices. So, yeah.
So I'm gonna respond to Johnny when she was saying that she's looking forward to checking Salinas out, but they will be moving to Cuenca.
Yeah.
Yes, by all means, check out Salinas. Just know that when you come to Salinas, is definitely warmer than Cuenca, and the altitude is different. So we're on the coast, so Cuenca is higher. So
A lot higher.
yeah, but like we've been to Cuenca, so it's very, it's beautiful to us as well.
It is very nice, yeah.
No, not at the time. We're not applying for a permanent visa because we lost our 90 days.
Yeah.
We lost our 90 days when we first moved to Ecuador because we got our visas while we were in the States.
Yeah.
So we lost our 90 days, so we won't be applying for a permanent visa at the moment.
Which is also the reason that we were just taking a lot of trips over the past year because it didn't really matter in reference to our visa. We knew we were going to have to reapply for the temporary visas anyway.
Liz Marie asks, are there any other future vacations outside of Ecuador that we would like to visit?
Yes, plenty. So in the short term, we don't really want to take any really distant trips while we're working on our visa. So in the short term, we both like to visit Peru, it's right next door. So we would want to do that. And, maybe Mexico, maybe a cruise or two, and, in North America. But as far as like, distant travel, like going back to Europe or going to maybe New Zealand or something like that, that's going to have to be a little further in the future because we got to make sure we get our visa straight and everything. But we're also just kind of sick of flying right now.
Yeah, just for the moment,
Yeah.
At some point we will travel even if it's within Ecuador.
Yeah.
Take a trip to where you want to go.
I do want to go to Peru sooner than later. Whether it be a few days or whatever, just visit Peru and maybe like a place like Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, that's is really popular. Places like that. We do plan to actually do like a lot of traveling, but when you apply for your residency visa, if you're going to be out of country more than 90 days, it kind of messes with that. So we got to be mindful of like how long we leave. The problem is when we go places, we like to stay for a while. So if I go to Europe, I don't want to go to Europe for like 5 days.
No, you need at least, I would say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want to see. So, yeah.
Yeah. So and we have places that we want to visit in Ecuador as well. I'm going to eventually get to the Amazon. I know she doesn't want to go. I'm going to eventually get to Amazon, places like Baños that are near the Amazon. And, maybe getting back to places that we've already been. When we were in Cuenca, we were only there for a few days. So we do need to go back and visit for, At least a week. At least a week. That altitude is something. It didn't bother me too bad, but it definitely bothered her. So I got to be mindful of that. So Cuenca's probably a more. Cuenca's probably the nearest futurist. Is that a phrase? Nearest futurist
Nearest futurist.
destination to visit. Other places along the coast as well.
Johnny said she does have some issues with altitude.
Yeah. So if you're going to be moving to Cuenca, I know that some people, even if you have issues with it, you can get over it. You can get, your body can get acclimated to it. But then there are other people who like never get acclimated to it. So you just kind of have to find out when you get there, and spend several weeks. You might have to give it a week. A few weeks, a month, 2 months to see if your body gets used to it. But otherwise, you may not want to live in the city of Cuenca. I believe the province is Azaway or something like that. There's places that are like slightly lower elevation to live. I know they can be fairly expensive, but it is an option. So if you maybe go down a couple thousand feet, you might feel a lot better. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
She also asked, are you going to use the same visa facilitator?
Yes, we are. We are. We used Gringo visas first time. We're using them now.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
It's convenient for us. We don't have to do all the leg work.
Yeah.
And they're familiar with the process. We have plenty of time before we get our visas back, so it shouldn't take that long because we're already in the system anyway, so we will see.
Yeah, we'll see. Also, if you do have questions, anyone watching, if you have questions about getting a visa for Ecuador, we have 2 video interviews with Mate Duran from Gringo Visas on our channel, so feel free to check those out. She answers a whole lot of questions. Most of the stuff I can't remember, but yeah, I left her contact information, so anything you want to know, feel free to contact her.
Yeah, I think you left her number in the description.
The number and her email, yeah.
So she said the last time she was there, she was there for a month.
Oh, you're probably
so
fine.
You should be fine.
Yeah, you're probably fine. Our few days there, I don't think was enough time to get acclimated in any way. Quito, we were there 5 days.
Quito,
5 or 6 days.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because that's when we traveled to the other parts.
Yeah.
In the surrounding areas.
Yeah, and with Quito, we were kind of in and out of Quito, but like I can definitely say that when we were in the city of Quito, like I felt that altitude. She felt it more than I did, but we would wake up in the middle of the night and kind of like do one of those gas for air and then kind of fall back asleep. It's like your body wasn't getting enough oxygen or something. So yeah, Quito's rough. Quito's rough if you have a problem with altitude. So we definitely got to get back to Cuenca though.
So, is it just the same as the first time? Pretty much, yes. The same, paperwork and what they need. And
next one, this one.
Sorry. Sorry, I went too fast. But it's pretty much the same process from what we started. And Mate will let you know if there are any additional documents that are needed or if the document you sent in the last time, she doesn't need you to replace it.
Our only difference this time is just the visa that we're applying for is just professional versus retirement.
So Vicky Walker, have you created an event to reach out to others in the community, say a monthly dinner, lunch, brunch, just thinking about a sense of community and what that looks like in this area?
So Vicky, I have brainstormed this for the last 2 months, and I've been keeping it kind of to myself because I want to figure out how to do it. As far as strictly Ecuador, no, I haven't. That's not what I was thinking exactly. But I was thinking about like creating an event for people who have moved abroad in the Central and South America area, and maybe a time where get all get together and just have like a nice little event for a day or two, whether it be in some central location like like somewhere in Mexico or something, Dominican Republic, whatever. But yes, that is actually a very good idea, and I have been thinking about something similar to that. So yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yes, Quito is super high. It's like 9,000 feet on average or more. I know when we were doing our tour of the city, we were in one place that was like almost 10,000. And yeah, I felt every bit of that, walking around, just feeling like you kind of short of breath every once in a while. How's it over there?
Dreaming Lemonade says, how is it over there? Right now, it's nice. It's about what
It's only, let's see,
70, maybe it's 80,
78 degrees.
78 degrees.
Yeah, sunny.
Beautiful. Nice and not too warm. You get a nice breeze
Yeah.
out on the balcony.
It's so Salinas in this area is dry most of the time, but it's humid. But the humidity isn't the same as you would feel like in the States. Like we're on the coast, but it's not like living in Florida or something like that. It's really weird, honestly. It's the only way you know that the air is really saturated is if you try to hang something outside to dry. It takes forever, or it may not dry at all completely. And that's the only rate where you really know. Stepping outside, you don't start just like pouring sweat like you would in the South in the U.S. It's not the same kind of humidity. I guess the dew points are different or something. I don't know. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. Can't really complain. There's not a lot of bugs. You think living where we do, there's bugs everywhere, but not really.
Well, they had a.
Oh yeah, they have a swarm of crickets, locusts, or whatever.
And they've been
recently.
showing up periodically on the balcony. I've found a couple inside,
Yeah,
but nothing like the way they were talking about while we were gone. That
yeah.
it was a swarm of crickets everywhere.
And I think that had something to do with the excessive rain that we had like a few months ago. It's like it was really abnormal amount of rain, and I think this has something to do with it.
Dreaming Lemonade also asks, do we visit Guayaquil? We only visit Guayaquil normally when we're leaving, because
Yeah.
that's the airport
Yeah.
we leave out of. But no, I haven't had a need to go to Guayaquil, honestly.
Only because it's 2 hours away, 2 and some change, depending on where you're going, and there's nothing we really need that bad that we need to go to Guayaquil for, because we can pretty much get anything we want in Guayaquil. Like, just being honest. But we haven't had a need for something that bad that we were willing to take the 2 hour ride to Guayaquil. But as far as in like Guayaquil being dangerous or whatever, yeah, depending on where you are, I guess. But that's not the reason why we don't go. We just don't have a reason to go, because there are plenty of nice stores and everything in Guayaquil to go to that we could use. But if we live closer, probably more often, yeah. That's good. Ecuadorian. Okay, Dream and Lemonade. That's good. I'm Ecuadorian, and my family is from Guayaquil. I'm trying to go there for the rest of the summer. Yeah. I would say visiting Guayaquil, you take the same precautions as depending on where you live. If you're in the States, depending on where you live, you take the same precautions you would in any big city anywhere. It's not just places like like Guayaquil that are dangerous everywhere. When we were in Rome and Paris, we consciously just decided not to take the subway. You know, we didn't need to, honestly. You know, it wasn't that serious that we had to get around. We didn't need to get on the subway, but we were like, eliminate the possibility of being pickpocketed.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't completely eliminate it, obviously, but yeah, that's normally where it happens.
It's
so,
just, you don't give that a greater chance of
Yeah.
that happening. So we walked a lot of places.
Yeah.
We also took Uber. So
we're visiting a new place, so we were like, we weren't going to spend too much time trying to figure out things we didn't understand right off the top of our head. So
Yeah.
trying to figure out the transit system.
Oh yes.
Yeah, like no, I'm here for a vacation. I'm not here to do schoolwork and figure out how the transit system works in Europe. I'm not doing it. So yeah, if I was there for like 2 or 3 months, oh yeah, definitely, I'd figure it out. But a few weeks, nah, it wasn't worth it. A few days in Paris wasn't worth trying to figure out the transit, even though people told us what to do. I'm good.
The only thing we needed to figure out was when we were taking the bullet train. So
yeah, and that was pretty self-explanatory. It's just like booking a plane ticket. It was actually easier than booking a plane ticket. So yeah, that was fine. But yeah, come visit, for the summer. Enjoy yourself. Just like I said, just be careful. As careful as you would be anywhere else. Always assume that someone
is
nefarious is watching you. That's what we do. We do that everywhere we go. It doesn't matter if we're in the States, in Europe, here. We treat it all the same. I know, people try to say, "Oh, it's dangerous." Like, yeah, it is, sure, but we take the same precautions everywhere. We don't trust anybody. It's not. Yeah, we don't let our guard down because we're home here. No, it doesn't work like that.
I mean, and still things can happen. So
yeah, anything can happen anytime. You can't worry about that stuff all the time. Except buying a house or a condo. Johnny,
in the future. In the future.
Yes. It could be far in the future. So, first, let me just say that initially coming here, that kind of was our plan. Like, maybe we get a house, a condo, or something. Maybe have something built. And getting here, you realize like how things work, and you realize that unless you really have like a lot of money to throw away.
Why do you say throw away?
Because you're gonna make mistakes. And if you just come down here kind of blindly like, oh, I'm buying something, you're gonna end up wasting a lot of money. You're really better off kind of being here for a while, understanding how everything works and knowing exactly what you want. Because you may see what you want, you may have it in your mind, and when you get here, you don't realize that, oh, where I want to build this house, there's no electricity. Or there's no plumbing. There's things you really have to consider
and know the area.
Yeah,
you need to know where you're building. You need to know.
Yeah. There's no city services where I'm trying to build this place.
Right.
Like,
is there a hospital nearby?
Right, and everything that you take for granted in the States, you got to remember that like you really have to consider that stuff here, which is why like I'm glad that we both realized like, oh, no, we're not going to buy anything right now. Because it just doesn't make sense yet.
Yeah. The only thing we felt that was needed was when it's hot, we didn't want to walk. So we decided to take a scooter. Get a
scooter, yeah. And we're still pretty young, so
I need my exercise in there, so it's okay.
Yeah, so we got time. We got time to figure it out.
So,
how expensive is Salinas, and does it have a vast transit system? If vast, so let me back up. Salinas is actually a small town. It's in the province of Santa Elena, which has several other towns and cities in it.
So how can you put it? It's almost like
it is. If vast means buses and taxis. Then yes, there are tons of buses and taxis. There's no other public transit. There's one Uber guy. You just got to remember that Salinas itself is small. It's right next to a bigger city of La Libertad. You'll go from one end to the other and not really even know, honestly. But yeah, it's public transit here is buses and taxis. The only place that we've seen wasn't there a rail system in Quito?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a train,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that being said, you can get everywhere you need to go with buses and taxis around here.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to answer your question about is it expensive? No, it's not. If
It
of
just
course,
depends
yeah,
on your personal needs,
and
your lifestyle.
If you want a penthouse condo, you can pay penthouse
You can
condo
get
prices.
yeah, you can get a penthouse condo.
You want to live a few blocks away from the water, then you're being a lot more reasonable. So it just depends on what you want, what you can afford, and what's expensive to you. I don't know what's expensive to you, but otherwise, pricing is
Everything's affordable.
yeah, especially food. That's crazy affordable. Motto. Anyone a suspect, use common sense. Hey, we've said this so many times. For people who have issue with living, in a place that does have crime, Ecuador has crime. That's what it is. I would say this, and this is what I do say. There are professional athletes, actors, and CEOs that live in Chicago, in New York, in LA, in Atlanta. The same places that have a lot of crime. All right? It's not like the crime is everywhere. It can spread out. Of course it can happen anywhere, it's not what I'm saying. But you have to understand like what the crimes are and where they're happening, who they're happening to. For us, we know that we could be the victim of, just a random robbery at a restaurant, someone wants to steal your cell phone. Okay. Otherwise, we take the same precautions that we would in the States. I never went to an ATM in the States without looking over my shoulder 18 times, whether I was in my vehicle or walking up to one. Why would I do anything different here? It's not different. Like you said, Julie, everyone is suspect. I don't trust anybody, and LaShawn trusts even fewer people than I do. She barely trusts me. All right. So, yeah, it's one of those things. You just gotta use common sense.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, you miss. Oh, I'm
No.
sorry, you got that one. Are you loving the scooter? Absolutely. I pretty much ride it almost every day. It's electric. I don't have to put gas in that thing. I can charge it for a couple hours and not have to charge it up for like more than a week. And honestly, when I do charge it up, it's not nearly even empty. I just charge it because I feel like it. Since we've been here, it's one of our better investments. We haven't made any bad ones, honestly. Yeah, it's one of our better purchases since we've been here. It's the most expensive purchase we made since we've been here, but it's one of our better ones. We kind of love it, especially me. Like DC, that was meant to describe the transit system. Yeah. It's just buses and taxis. That's pretty much it. Benefits the visa to travel to Colombia, Uruguay, and other South American countries where you can travel with your visa. So, yes, number one. What we want to do is come up with a plan of countries we want to visit, where we want to go, exactly when, and for how long. Because, like I said, we want to wait until we get our new set of visas to make sure everything's okay. Because there's no point in us planning any trips before we get our next 2 years worth of visa. So when that happens, which will be like later on this year, then we'll be able to map out, okay, I want to visit, Bogota or, Uruguay or Peru, for maybe 3-4 days at a time. That way, within that 2-year span, we're not going over our 90 days. Because at some point, we're gonna have to go back to the States. So, yeah, we got to do a little math. Everybody hates doing math, but yeah, it's one of those things where that's one of those things where we got to wait. We really got to wait until we get our new visas to know exactly where we want to go and for how long. Because I want to visit Brazil as well. So,
Did y'all ever visit Ecuador Galapagos Island before? I heard it's pretty.
Yeah, we heard it's pretty too.
We seen pictures. We talked about going.
Yeah. That is one of our destinations.
Well, that was
Yeah.
until I saw this. What was this? She showed her the picture. It looked like an iguana was hooked on to somebody's.
I'm not. Whatever. I'm not worried about the nature.
No, you're not. So.
But yes.
But
yes.
what?
We do plan to visit Galapagos. Here's the thing about visiting the Galapagos. Depending on how you want to visit the Galapagos, it can be extremely expensive. If you just want to go and stay in a hotel and do the normal stuff, it can be affordable. But if you plan a Galapagos cruise, we might as well take another trip to Europe if we're going to do that, because that's how much it costs. But we're definitely going to the Galapagos.
Yeah, and the pictures that I've seen, it is beautiful. Yeah. The animals, the turtles, from the pictures that we from friends that have visited.
Yeah, well. Thanks for repping my country underrated. Yeah, this place is underrated. It's places in like Central and South America get a bad rap, but it's unwarranted in my opinion. How you live your life is on you. Of course, there's things around you that you can't control. We may be in a situation where like, oh man, we got to move, but I'm not going to be mad at the country. It's just a situation. It's not so serious that I'm going to blame my problems on Ecuador. It's not like that. I didn't really have any issues for me living in the United States. The issues were the cost of living in the United States and, wanted to retire early. So this place is underrated. I encourage people to visit. If you don't want to live here, that's fine. We're not telling people to come move here, but definitely come visit.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
There's something for everybody in this country.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's something for everybody.
And if you get out and just,
expand your horizons.
Expand your horizon and just see the beauty in what's here.
Yeah.
Don't look for the negative.
Yeah, because you can definitely find it.
Yeah. But if you see the positive, it definitely outweighs the negative.
Yeah.
Because you just see I just see a beautiful country.
Yeah. Hey, B.
Hey.
Yeah, so do we. It is a wonderful country. Here's the thing. There's pluses and minuses about any country you visit. When we were in Paris, and we were talking to one of our drivers, and he was saying how much he loves France, but he hated the politicians or the people? I can't remember what it was.
It's not the people. I think the politics.
I think it was the politics. Yeah. Like he was saying they're like the most contradictory country, and he was from Africa, so he had like an outsider's point of view of how things worked in France. But he said, this country's wonderful. Obviously it offered him an opportunity, but he said like the politicians are just like the worst. So you can find a good and bad about any place. It's not just. Crime isn't always the only thing that, can be an issue. There's other things.
Yes. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, you gotta wait for it.
I know.
Yeah.
I keep doing that. Sorry, y'all. Yes, the people are very nice here.
Oh, so when we first got back here from the States, remember we were walking, and like everyone was saying, Buenos dias. That is the norm. Random people that you don't know will, Buenos dias, and ¿Cómo está? They're the nicest people, y'all. They're the nicest people.
Yeah, it's like they're very hospitable. We've gotten, like in the U.S., we've gotten a way of greeting people.
Yeah.
You get greeted here. and it's nice. You know, they smile, ask how are you doing, and it's just normal. Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, especially if you make eye contact with anyone. If you make, especially like just kind of walking, maybe in the mall, it's not quite the same in the mall, but you know, if you're outside, if you make eye contact with someone, you know, it's like buenos tardes, or you know, buen dia.
Or let's just say that if you visit a store, a shop, and you go there regular, you may see them walking up and down the beach or down the boardwalk, and they see you. They greet, you know, they like, hey, how are you? Because you patronize their shop.
Yeah.
So it's very nice to see that.
And I don't know, maybe it's because we're so recognizable. I don't know. It always happens to us. I don't know if it happens to everybody.
Really? I think so. I'm sorry. Carla said, I'm planning a trip to Ecuador for September. I'd like to visit
Quito.
Okay.
And areas around like Baños, Mindo, the market in Otavalo, Cuenca, and the coast. Minimum 2 to 4.
Is that possible?
2 to 4 weeks or days? Weeks, yes. Days, no.
No. Because you wouldn't be able to go to Cuenca and then see the other.
Yeah, like, for example, Quito, if you're driving, Quito's like 8 hours from Manta on the coast. They do have flights now, I think, but it is very, the one, if I can say there's one thing about Ecuador that I miss from the States, is the ability to get from one city to the other easily. Mm-hmm. So from Salinas, we have an airport. We look out of our window and see the airport. All right, there's no planes coming in and out of that airport. We wish there were, because we would definitely just fly to Cuenca or Quito from here rather than having to go to Guayaquil. So you got to keep in mind, like, if you're going to be here for just a few days, then you may not be able to see all those things. Now, if you're in Quito for a few days, then yeah, you can definitely see, you know, Mindo,
Otavalo, Cotacachi.
Yeah, because we visited those places and they were awesome. They were absolutely awesome. Especially Mindo that was one of the greatest things we've ever done.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Go see the hummingbirds. But yeah, you would need, hopefully that's 2 to 4 weeks instead of days.
Okay. So when is a typical good time to visit?
Well,
depending on where you like.
It depends on where you're going.
Yeah.
So there's a rainy season and dry season, but I don't know there's much different, honestly. I can say that for the coast, the Ecuador summer months, which are December through May, if I have that right, yeah, December through May, or technically like the rainy season, that's when it's more sunny. It's going to be hotter, but that's when it's more sunny. And from June through November, it's a little more cloudy. Or maybe June through September, something like that. But if you're visiting the mountains, so like Loja, Cuenca, Quito, honestly, I'm not sure the best time to visit is. I would say not during the rainy season, because that's when they have like a lot more mudslides and stuff.
Yeah.
Quito and Cuenca, like, as far as I know, they kind of stay the same temperature. Well, not the same temperature, but they're pretty cool all year. So, you know, it isn't like a hot season.
Yeah, because we went in, when did we go? It was back in...
It was, what month was that?
March?
I don't remember. No, we got here in March.
We got where in March?
To Salinas, went to Ecuador March 31st.
No, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about when we went to Quito.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was...
When we went to Quito on a visit, it wasn't in March.
Yeah, Quito, when we visited Mindo and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was later on in the year. I don't know if it was September, October.
Okay, yeah, I think it was September.
Yeah.
So when we went during that time and we were staying in Quito, during the daytime, it was nice and warm. So you kind of come out in the morning
the sun
with a jacket.
Come out,
yeah, so you get warm. As the the sun goes down, it got cooler, and you may run into some rain.
Yeah, you need a jacket.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
need
it
a
just
jacket.
definitely, you just take a jacket with you majority of the
I know
time.
one morning I got up kind of early. The sun was out, but like it was still early in the morning. I took a walk, and we were kind of in the middle of keto. And in the middle of the walk, I had to take my sweater off because
Yeah.
the sun is really warm. The UV rays are really harsh
Yeah.
there. But it was cool. But the sun is just kind of just so intense that you're gonna feel warmer than it actually is.
Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, people don't say good morning in the U.S. like they used to.
Yeah.
Hi guys, just out of curiosity, did you consider Panama as a retirement destination? What was the deciding factor for Ecuador?
You want to answer that?
Yes, we did consider Panama, but some of their visa restriction changed before we decided to go. And I also have a friend that lives here in Ecuador. So we decided to come to Ecuador. And when we did our exploratory visit, we fell in love with Salinas.
Yeah.
And we felt like Salinas was a good fit because of the weather, the cost of living. It was just small. It was what we needed and convenient for us.
Yeah.
So that's to sum it up. I don't know how he feels, but
well, no, she pretty much said it. The one more thing I'll add is that it checked the boxes for us being new expats basically, where we wanted to be near someone that we knew and trusted when we moved to the country. You know, someone that we're already acquainted with, who was already kind of accustomed to Ecuador and who spoke Spanish, because we knew we would need help. And one of her friends checked all those boxes for us. It just so happened that they lived in Salinas and we liked being in Salinas. So it just worked out for us that way. That's why we're here. But Panama was definitely on our list. You know, hey, Panama's still on the list. You never know.
yeah,
You
exactly.
never know.
I think I missed this one. Sorry. Ecuador uses the U.S. dollar.
You can, yeah.
Is it still affordable and have expenses risen compared to when you first arrived?
I think the only thing that fluctuates here that I've noticed is maybe like the eggs.
The eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The eggs. Don't get me wrong. When the states, the eggs went up in the states, like they didn't go up here. But the prices of eggs like do fluctuate here. Otherwise, no. Every dollar that we spend buys the same thing that it did when we first got here. It's still
Yeah.
taxes still cost the same.
Yeah.
The movies, everything.
Yeah. You haven't been affected by inflation here.
Yeah.
Oh, she called them weeks.
Weeks,
So,
yes.
yes.
So I'll back up and answer your question again. Yes, you do have time. Just make sure you plot it out so that you're going.
And you're in the same area, so
Yeah.
you don't go from one. You be in Cuenca, and then you gotta come back and pass Quito to get to Mendo.
Right. Just know you don't want to go from Quito to Salinas. You don't want to. If you're going to make a visit, you go from Quito to like Cuenca to Salinas, and then maybe up to Monte, and then back to Quito, something like that.
Oh, but if you're doing Quito, do your Mendo.
Yeah, do all that while you're there.
Cotacachi, Otavalo while you're in.
Yeah, all that
Quito.
stuff's within 2 hours of Quito.
And then you can go to Cuenca.
Yeah.
And then you said Cuenca from
Like
Salinas.
Cuenca, then Salinas, like Cuenca, and then Guayaquil, Salinas. Like Guayaquil's in between Salinas and Cuenca.
Yes.
So anyway, yeah, just look at a map, plot it out, knowing that you're going to spend, a long time between each city.
Things are expensive. Yes, we know.
Yeah, we know. When we went, oh my goodness. So let me tell you, culture shock, reverse culture shock. Like I said earlier, we definitely visited Chick-fil-A when we first got back to the States because we just kind of love Chick-fil-A. And there's no Chick-fil-A's here. Getting 2 meals at Chick-fil-A, I mean, would it come to like $20?
I don't know. I thought
Yeah.
it was the same before we left. I didn't.
No.
See any
I'm not
difference,
saying
so.
that. I'm not saying that it's different than when we left. What
Oh,
I'm
you're
saying
just
is
saying
I'm comparing it
comparison.
to here.
Oh, okay.
Because
because we can get 2 meals.
$20 would get us 4 meals, depending on where we're buying it. Depending on what we,
No.
or
Okay,
the
hold
promotions.
on. So Yeah, you're about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, $20 will give us like 4 meals.
I had to do the math.
Yeah, and probably bigger meals.
Oh yes, definitely bigger
Yeah.
meals.
So
with
we could,
with
with a drink.
with the drink.
Yeah, so you could, now don't get me wrong, you could definitely come down here and spend $20 on one plate. It is possible, but you got to look for it. All right, it's not the norm. It is definitely not the norm.
Okay. Johnny says, I live in way northern Michigan. Drop dead.
No, B
for...
said this.
She's to Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Can you see that?
Yep. Hello, guys. Planning to travel to Manta, fly to Quito, and would love to see Salinas and travel with my pet cat. What type of housing do you recommend I stay in?
Depending on how long.
Go ahead.
Airbnb, because it's short term.
Yeah. They're more likely to allow a pet also.
Yeah.
And you can separate it. So let me back up. Quito and I believe Cuenca and I'm sure Cuenca and maybe Manta have a lot more hotel accommodations than Salinas. Salinas' hotel accommodations they're not terrible, don't get me wrong, but they're more in line with like Salinas is like a vacation area for Ecuadorians. So they're not usually bringing their pets on vacation with them. If that makes sense. So you try to book a hotel here in Salinas, like they might tell you, no, you can't bring a pet. And Airbnb will probably put the pet option in Airbnb to see, because we booked an Airbnb that allowed pets.
A pet.
So in that note, yes, look for an Airbnb, and it depends on how much time you want to spend. If you're going to fly into Quito and go to Manta, check to see if there's any flights going to Manta during that, because I don't think they're every day. I think they're like maybe 3 or 4 times a week or something like that. Somebody correct me. Maybe we'll just take a direct flight from Quito to Manta. Otherwise, it's a really long drive. Hey, if you want to come to Salinas, that would be an even longer drive. So to get to Salinas, see if you can get a flight from Quito, a short flight from Quito to Guayaquil, and then come to Salinas.
Yeah.
So
it's like a 2-hour flight from Quito.
No, it's not even that long. It was less than an hour. It was like 45 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm getting the other two mixed up.
Too much flying tomorrow.
Yes. Sorry, I'm off.
Expensive.
I meant weeks. Does it make sense to start in Quito, then Cuenca, and on to the coast? I know I'll need a couple of days to get acclimated to the altitude in Quito. Best way to get between cities. Yeah, I think we just went over that.
Yeah. So it just depends on which city you're going from and to. Yes, it is a good idea to come into Quito. The 2 biggest airports are Quito and Guayaquil. If you want to start in Quito, then definitely go to Quito first. If you want to start on the coast, then fly to Guayaquil.
But what she's saying is, it makes sense to start in Quito, then Cuenca, and then onto the coast. So yes, she's taking the right direction. Because when you leave out of Quito, you're going down to Cuenca.
Yeah, Cuenca's only like 1,000 feet lower than Quito.
So
they're both really high.
The adjustment would be okay
it's not as harsh. I will say that if you're coming from a place where, like, unless you're coming from like Colorado or something, give yourself a day or 2 in Quito before you book trips in and around Quito. So like if you want to do like a city tour.
Because you don't know how you're gonna feel.
Yeah, you don't know how you're gonna react. So I wouldn't book that stuff ahead of time, honestly.
And they also have oxygen.
Yeah, a lot of places have oxygen you can breathe, but just please, when you get to Quito, make sure that you're able to stand up before you book trips and stuff in and around Quito. Best way to get between cities, it depends on which city. So from Quito to Cuenca, unless you want to take a very adventurous bus ride.
I don't know about that. Just take.
How adventurous are you? Take a flight. Take a flight.
Yes.
Take a flight.
I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you.
For me, it would have been a flight.
Yeah. If it's within your means, take a flight. Take a flight from Cuenca to Guayaquil and the coast. You can take a bus. We did a bus from Guayaquil to Cuenca.
It was fun.
It wasn't that. Yeah, it was fun to me.
You watch a movie.
Yeah, the scenery. I'm telling you, if you're not afraid of heights and looking down the cliffs, it's absolutely gorgeous. Can't be beat. So it may be worth it to take that bus ride from Cuenca to Guayaquil to get that one experience. And then, from Guayaquil, you can get to Salinas, and you kind of go up the coast from there to Manta, and you can go back to Quito. That's how I would do it.
All right. So Buck said, if you don't want to lose your husband, don't go to Colombia.
I ain't one of the passport bros, right? You ain't got to worry about me. I'm too old. You got to worry about me.
I don't have anything to say.
We going to Colombia,
Like your glasses, seem relaxed, vacation good for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for liking these. I like them too. It's something different. He didn't like them.
You want to hear a little story?
Oh, here we go.
She got 2 pair, and they're both similar size. And at first when I saw them, I was like, maybe they'll grow on me. And they did, honestly. After a couple of days, I did say, okay, you know what, they are kind of cute.
Yeah, after a couple of days. They say, when a man don't want to say he doesn't like something, he's like, it's okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's okay.
It's all right.
And I know he didn't like them.
I didn't like them.
He didn't like them.
I just wasn't a super fan.
I was like, you're gonna get used to them because they're not going anywhere. So they're here, and of course they've grown on it.
And the vacation was good.
And the vacation was wonderful. How is our Spanish coming along? Better?
Muy bien. It's getting better. It's getting better. We still can't hold a conversation.
It's better than it. I would say when we got here, it was 0%.
Yeah.
Where we are now, maybe 20%.
We are
because we're.
Yeah.
It's coming along. We need to engage more in our Spanish.
I've gotten back into practicing, and crazy thing is, like right after not long after we came back from our trip, I had a couple of dreams in Spanish. So I'm like, oh man, I'm dreaming in Spanish. Like I must be picking it up. I don't
know if that's what it meant.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if the words were correct or not, but I feel like.
It probably was. Because I can hear you saying it now, like.
But I wasn't speaking it. You were speaking it in the dream. You were speaking it to someone else, like in fluent Spanish. I'm like, when did you learn this? Like,
I don't. This is my first time hearing about this.
I didn't tell you. Yeah.
This is my first time hearing about this. I was fluent.
It was like a few days ago. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like I'm definitely picking up Spanish because I'm dreaming about Spanish. So we'll see.
I hope you're dreaming about the right. It's in the right format.
Yeah, I could be insulting somebody's mama or something when I say something.
Completely off. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, that was funny. What is the percentage of black population in Salinas or Ecuador in general?
I don't know what the census is, honestly. We've had the opportunity to meet up with a lot of Afro-Ecuadorians and African-Americans here and Afro-Colombians. So it's hard to know. I'd have to actually honestly look up like the census, and then that's not totally accurate. So walking around, I can tell you this, walking around, we're odd. If that helps answer the question, we're odd. Although there are a lot of
sometimes I get mistaken for
right.
That I know Spanish. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
there are a lot of Ecuadorians who maybe assume, and whether it be Colombian or wherever, they assume that maybe we're Colombian or something, or Afro-Ecuadorian, because you don't see them. They're around, they're everywhere, but you just don't see them a lot. It's weird. It's really weird. If you go to certain places, you'll see more than other places. But like any places like banks or big stores, you'll never see like Afro people working there. Ever.
Oh, and that may be a store. What is it? Historical information regarding that.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a whole history behind that. But
we don't know.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to say what the population is, because you really don't see us that much. So yeah, we are, for good or bad, we're odd.
So, okay,
Man,
hold
you
on.
get my glasses, I got my contacts in. It ain't
Planning
working.
to move once we retire. Not sure where yet, but have thoughts of apprehension coming up as time draws near.
We're moving anyway.
But moving anyway, did either of you have apprehension as you exit GACO? Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, because Sean can tell you, I'm pretty easygoing. Like, I'm easy to please. Like, it doesn't take much for me. I don't worry about a lot. 99% of the things I worry about have to do with her. Then it's the things that she worries about. So if I'm like apprehensive about something, it's because she is, not because I am. That being said, I think that like we kind of planned it out pretty well, and we had a plan in mind of, if it doesn't work out, we try another country, and that plan is still in place. We mapped it out that way. That's one of the reasons that we didn't make a huge purchase when we got here, because you never know when we have to change
have
plans.
to do it, make an exit. And not only that, when we decided, we thought about it. We were like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? We got to come back, get a job.
That ain't happening.
So I'm not saying make sure you have everything lined up and take the chance.
Yeah.
And then I promise you,
Yeah.
once you get over that hump and you're there and it's gonna feel like a vacation.
Yeah.
Probably the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that you're like, oh.
Yeah. Give yourself some kind of backup. You gotta have some kind of an out. And that will help with some of that apprehension. Plan yourself a backup. I would apprehension is what keeps a lot of people, and it is people of any race. Apprehension keeps you from achieving the things that you really want, and you'll regret it later if you don't do it. So,
did Stephanie miss you, cook for you so you don't leave?
we guess they missed us. I don't know. They did watch our scooter for us while we were gone.
So yeah, and let's see. I have those frames in clear. Didn't see that color. They are nice. Thank you. I love them.
You should see the other pair. I actually kind of like the other pair a little bit better.
I kind of feel like the frames I had before, they just seem small. It's like you have this little sliver of lens. And when I got these, I was like, oh my God, I see more than I did before with my other pair. Okay. 20%.
20% is good. Hold on, I forgot what was the
That's
question.
the Spanish. The 20% of Spanish.
I don't know if it's 20. Maybe more like 12.
We use Duolingo. I look at some YouTube videos, try to watch people speaking in Spanish,
And just
and trying to
listening.
get my listening skills better.
Because the Spanish speakers here talk so fast. You have to say despacio sometimes, or you just have to pick up every other word and try to piece together what they're saying.
Us being a duo, what did you hear?
What did you hear? Yeah.
Okay, I heard this. Okay, they're saying this, and then we figure it out.
And then sometimes, like, the person that is talking to us,
they
they understand what we're saying, but they're looking at us looking like idiots. And they totally understand that we don't get what they're saying. And sometimes they even speak English.
And sometimes they just keep saying it over and over to you. You pick it up, you're like, okay.
But they're never mean about anything. It's always funny.
I think it's hilarious.
It's always funny.
It would be hilarious to me if I spoke the language and you were trying, and I could see you trying. I'm like, let me see if they're gonna figure out. And if they don't, then like, oh, do you want juice?
Yeah.
What kind of juice do you want?
Like the lady at the movie theater that time. She knew exactly what we were saying, and she waited and then spoke English to us. Like, oh my goodness. She waited till we just could not figure out what to say. And she spoke English to us. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
I'm so embarrassed.
and it's great that we can laugh about it. It's just funny. It's like, I have no reason to be mad because, at least we're trying. Hold on.
RJ.
I am planning a 30-day visit. I want to look at a place to live. I want to look at places to live. I am planning to retire in 6 months, and the 6 months in the U.S.
I'm looking for a quiet place to chill. All right.
That's quiet.
So, quiet is a relative term here.
Well, no.
What do you consider quiet?
You can move to the country areas and it can be quiet.
Yes, but you also
but
will
I
have
don't live
a
in
lack of maybe some of the resources that you might want, depending on what your lifestyle. I don't know what your lifestyle is. If you're used to living in the country, then it's probably fine.
But if you can live outside the city, doesn't necessarily mean you're in the country.
So you may need a vehicle, though. It just depends on where you want to live here. Because where we live, we think it's quiet, but that's relatively quiet. There's the trash truck sings music all the time. Last night there was a motorcycle party, and they were going the wrong way down the street. It had to have been 200 motorcycles. It was crazy.
I don't know if they were. It was a police chase or.
And all of them had 2 people on the motorcycle.
Yeah, and they were going in all directions. It looked like a Fast and Furious.
Right. You know how in Fast and Furious, the police pull up and everybody scatters. That's what it looked like last night from my balcony. The police were just chasing motorcycles everywhere. It was kind of funny watching it from up there.
It was no one getting stopped. They try to block them, then they'll go a different way.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was really nice. I wish we could have got that on video.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't record most of it.
But we were just amazed.
We were just sitting there watching it. Yeah.
What's going on? But anyway,
to answer your question. Quiet, like I said, is relative. So most of the area, where we live right, on the Mallee Cone. So there's going to be more noise, there's going to be more music and stuff sometimes. Fireworks happen everywhere around here for no reason whatsoever. We don't care. We kind of love it. Just close the windows. But it's quiet for us because, like I said, we can just kind of close the windows. We don't really hear anything. And if you live kind of in the neighborhoods, blocks away from the main busy area, those areas are quiet. We'll ride the scooter in those neighborhoods. There's literally nothing going on. It's totally quiet. You might hear a dog bark or a rooster or something like that. Let's see. What were your family's questions for you about Ecuador? Mostly, I didn't give them a chance to ask too many questions because I try to preemptively answer most of the questions that I thought they would ask when we first introduced this idea. So of course they still have questions, but for the most part it's maybe safety or stuff like that. But someone like my mother and my dad, they know that I wouldn't plan on doing something. They know that LaShawn wouldn't plan on doing something if we hadn't already looked into it a lot. So there weren't really that many questions from them. The kids had a few more questions, but otherwise, no. Family's questions was really around safety, where you're gonna live, stuff like that. But it wasn't too deep, honestly. Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to explain how you got those frames? Oh.
Sorry, trying to put my mic back on. How did I get these frames? I ordered them online.
Yeah, you ordered them while we were in the States or while you're in Europe? Okay.
While we were in the States.
So yeah.
Oh, what's the question? Did you do guys in Ecuador? Oh. Have I seen cute quality frames in Ecuador?
Did you look?
Yeah, we at the one in the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there were some frames they had here that I really liked. They were small. I guess I have a big head. I don't know. But they were they looked like kid glasses on me. And they was no, those not going to fit. So I just waited till I got back to the U.S. to get these.
Yeah, so you just submitted your prescription online.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Johnny says the U.S. State Department is way backed up.
Yeah.
Her background check took over 5 months.
Backs you up to 6 months, like for processing.
Yeah.
We went ahead and did ours while we were in the States. Actually, no, ours went right through.
Oh, sorry. Let me do that.
Ours was done before we left.
Yeah, it came before we left.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
But no, that was the FBI though. That wasn't the State Department.
Oh.
It wasn't the State Department. Yeah.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
We just left.
Yeah.
Just,
we got some of the stuff we needed. We left.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So we already have our residency visa, but we'll have to renew it late next year. It's just taking us a lifetime to get out of it.
Same thing that happened to us. You know, we lost our 90 days before we came to the country, so we already knew nothing about planning. Nothing about planning. We planned to have to renew our temporary residency visa.
Yeah.
So,
because we lost it,
Yeah.
and so that's why we've been taking trips, because we had already lost our 90 days anyway.
It didn't matter how much time we stayed out of the country because we still had to renew our residency visa anyway. You said good for you, Johnny. New scanner and news. He's real backed up. FYI. Oh, yeah. Everybody's backed up in the States.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get on the right one.
It's this one.
This one?
Yep.
Is that the one I just put up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
now that both of you are... Wait.
No, this one. Do
I'm
any
trying
of
to
your
read.
family want to move to Ecuador now that they see how satisfied both you are?
Move? No. No. You got to understand that, everyone in our family is either too old to want to move or too young to move.
How can you say too
well,
old?
Think about it. My parents definitely ain't going nowhere.
That don't mean they're too old. They choose not to. They don't want to. They're comfortable
Mom,
with
if
it.
you're watching this, you're too old to move. There's a good chance my mom's watching this. Y'all are too old. Stay where you at. But yeah, otherwise, family, no.
It's not for my family.
Yeah.
It's not an option. This is not what they would want to do. They're comfortable where they are. Mm-hmm. And so that's that.
See this beautiful mug I'm drinking out of? You can check us out on our merch store. We have plenty of little items like this.
I always order glasses online. Are you able to order them while in Ecuador? Maybe using a VPN and pick them up in the States. I could order them online, and yes, I would have to go to the States to get them.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we're trying something new, and before I even talk about it, I want to know if it's going to arrive. So there is a service called Entrega here that you can order things online, and they have an
office
or what is it?
Like a mailbox,
a receiving department.
Yeah, like a UPS store almost.
Yeah, that they receive your packages and they will bring them to Ecuador. That is to be said because we're waiting, and I'm not going to speak on what you can and cannot do until I get my package.
Now
I'm going to leave that to him.
There are ways to we know plenty of people who just order stuff straight from Amazon. Now, getting your address here, it can be tricky. But once you get it, you can't just order stuff from Amazon. You got to pay a little extra to have DHL bring it here and all this other stuff. The reason that we're doing the Serve Entrega service is that they're a national service. They deliver stuff all over the country. They're pretty trusted. And the fact that they have a mailbox where I can put in that address in Amazon and have packages delivered there, and then they will tell me how much it will cost to ship here directly to me. I just kind of like having that mailbox where I can just plug in on Amazon, an address in Miami, and then I get the package. So we just did this, so my packages haven't arrived at the place in Miami until tomorrow. They're supposed to arrive tomorrow. So once they get there, then I'll know how long and how much it'll cost to get it here to me. and it's our experiment. So if it works out, then yeah, we'll just be right back on Amazon like we were in the States and ordering anything we need. So glasses, yes, you probably could just order them here and not even have to go to the States, pick them up. They could come here. You can get prescriptions here. I got new prescriptions for my contacts here.
Yeah, I wish that would change too, that we could just order
Yeah.
what we need from here.
And you don't need the VPN. Well, the crazy thing is, if I pull up Amazon without the VPN, it pulls up like Amazon.ec, which is in Ecuador. For the most part, when I try to compare items to like the US, they're always the same. So the prices usually were the same. So I'm sure there's probably things in there that may be different, but for the most part, everything was the same.
What did you do about your mail delivery in the U.S.?
Forwarded. We forwarded it to two different addresses where we know, like, someone could get it for us. And for the most part, most of the important things that we would have had delivered in the mail, we had those transferred over to digital, where we get emailed those things, bank statements, stuff like that. But yeah, otherwise we just forward it to two different addresses where we know that mail can go. And if we ever go back home, we need to get it, or if we need to see something, then they can scan it or take a picture of it and send it to us if it was needed. UPS may be going on strike next week. Could be yeah. Well, luckily my packages will be arriving probably by tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully whatever UPS is striking for, they get it.
What is a recommended monthly budget for the modest lifestyle for a single or couple you would recommend?
Well, I would say depend on where you want to live and what is your current lifestyle. So for us, well under 2,000 a month is totally doable. We could probably cut it back more, but we just decided to live where we do, so we pay a little more. But if you're talking about, was it a couple?
For a single or a couple. For a single, less than that.
Yeah,
you probably could.
Less
you
than
can do maybe.
Yeah. It depends on how much you eat. You're gonna have to go to the grocery store and how much you want to pay for rent and where you want to live, because rent can cost you $300 or $400, or it can cost you $1,500. It just depends on where you want to live.
Yeah. I did an eye exam there, so I had the measurements, and when I was looking at some of the glasses that I liked, they were smaller. So even when ordering certain glasses, I have to make sure they're not wide, they're not narrow, they're, I guess they call them medium, and it fits in my I forgot what it's, perimeter something measurements. So it sits correctly. The arm is not too long, and the frame isn't too big.
Thank you, RJ, for being here. I really appreciate it. We don't really mind sharing our experience at all. You can always comment on any video. If you have a question, comment, hit us up anytime. We don't mind sharing a little bit.
I think you answered that question.
Yeah, Did you forward a family member or service? Yeah, just family member. We didn't decide to use one of those mobile mailboxes or whatever, because it just wasn't necessary.
Yes, you can negotiate the rent here. Mm-hmm. You can negotiate.
You pretty much negotiate everything.
Yeah.
Unless there's a listed price. Well, I don't know. All right.
It was. I mean, it was the same. Yeah, like when we went to when we were in Bali.
Yeah.
You can negotiate everything. Yeah. And the taxi driver told us, like, you can negotiate everything here.
Yeah.
If you're not negotiating, you're just paying way too much.
You're not trying at all. Johnny said, we are always helpful and fun. Well, try to be one or the other. May not be helpful at all. I do want to try at least be fun. We do hope that we can help people. Like we always said, you don't have to come to Ecuador. This doesn't have to be your choice. It just happens to be ours. But definitely try something different. If living in the U.S., and if it's not just living in the U.S., but if it's like your job and everything around is just kind of stressing you, and you try something different. Life's too short. If you're chasing money your entire life, you're gonna end up, dissatisfied. In my opinion, go for what makes you happy. Don't go for the money, unless the money's the only thing that makes you happy. I don't know.
But even if it's going across the states, go see another state.
Yeah, go visit another state. Yeah.
If you can't, go out internationally, go to another state. Check out California, Vegas. Oh, Vegas. Oh my gosh. So just a tidbit. Vegas was hot.
Yeah.
Vegas was 114 degrees.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I felt like meat on the sidewalk just frying.
And we know, like Phoenix gets like that all the time. Yeah, we know. I've been in the desert. I've been in the Mojave Desert. I've been in the Middle East. I know. I'm just saying. When you want to go somewhere to visit someone and have a good time, you don't want to be 115 degrees. That's all I'm saying.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah. But we still had a great time.
Had a good time. Yeah. You want to refresh that one for me?
Okay.
No. No. Johnny, there's a couple of reasons why we don't go swimming in the ocean. One, we lived next to the ocean in Virginia. We never went swimming in the ocean. Never went past basically our waist in the water, maybe knees. Now we did a lot of kayak fishing and stuff like that. We just didn't go fishing. We didn't go swimming. Here, there's honestly nothing wrong with the water. There are like riptides in different places and everything. You don't always have like lifeguards and stuff. And you never know when a random sea lion is just going to pop up.
Like it did the other day.
There one popped up the other day. There was a crocodile out here like a month ago.
It was like a teenage crocodile.
Yeah.
It wasn't a full.
Yeah, it's probably somebody's pet or something. But still, it's not so much that I'm worried about like the animals. Honestly, it's just that like we just don't have a reason to go swimming in the ocean. We have a pool here. That's about all the water we want to deal with. We like looking at it. So yeah.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. Good advice.
What does a day in the life look like for both of you? Is there a gym nearby? Oops, sorry. What did I just do? Is there a gym nearby? Do you have cable, television, English? Do you cook at home often or go out?
Wow.
Hobbies?
You just asked a multitude of excellent questions, Vicky. So, would you like to start with that answer?
The day in the life for me is, not for both of us, for me, doing nothing, and doing absolutely what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And if that's nothing, if that's cooking, all of those things. It's just, I have the choice. Mm-hmm. Do we have cable or television? We have a television. We don't have cable. We have the Fire Stick that we put streaming services on.
Yeah.
We have a gym in our building that we utilize, and it has been very helpful. Mm-hmm. And I have to get back into it because, I had a lot of desserts when we was in Europe.
And the U.S.
Oh, yes, definitely the U.S. Do you cook at home? Yes.
Every day.
We cook almost every day, probably eat out once or twice a week. Hobbies. Anything I can think of.
Yeah.
It changes like the weather.
Yeah. With her, it kind of changes. With me, it's, some video games, editing videos, watching TV and YouTube, making videos, are our main hobbies. And boxing for me, I go to boxing, most days of the week, like 5 days out of the week. So we stay busy, but I guess for some people we would say like, oh man, y'all really aren't doing anything. But for us, it's busy. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
busy's busy.
yeah, and in the evening, we both take the time with each other, and whether we're watching, a TV show we like or a movie, making some popcorn, or just sitting out on the balcony chilling. That's pretty much what a day in the life is. I know it seems really boring to some folks, but that's really us. That's where we are in life.
How far is Salinas from Manta? I was supposed to relocate to Manta next January, but I'm reconsidering. What's the difference between the two areas?
Okay. So to answer, let's see.
What's the distance?
How far?
Yeah.
From Salinas by car, it's 4 hours. Now, if you look at it on the map, it's not 4 hours in like U.S. distance. So like in the U.S., that trip might take you less than 2 hours, honestly, because you can travel a lot faster. The roads here are a little bit different.
Yeah, you have winding roads here.
Yeah, and the speed limit's a lot lower. So it's a 4 hour ride. Although it is a beautiful ride from Salinas to Manta. It is absolutely beautiful because you're just going up the coast.
So what's the difference between the two?
The main difference is Manta's a lot bigger. It's a lot more metropolitan. It's a lot more modern. It has a lot more. You might take this as a bad term, but like it's a little more Americanized. So there's like a lot more American style restaurants and stuff like that.
But there are some areas you would find.
It is still Ecuadorian. Don't get me wrong, but
it just depends on where you're living.
Yeah, Manta is more of a destination, like kind of almost like an international destination, whereas Salinas is an Ecuadorian destination.
Yeah, because Manta get cruise ships.
Yeah. So Salinas is just a lot smaller. It has less. So like Manta, has more doctors, more shopping, more everything than Salinas. Oh, 78. Living in Desert, California is like an oven. I bet. Crocodiles and sea lions. A pool is nice. You're absolutely correct. There's no sharks, but yeah.
Do you need a license to drive a scooter? Are there places to take? Hold on, let me go back up here because I can't read over there. Sorry. Are there places to learn how to drive a scooter? Yes. It says, I think we're supposed to have a driver's license.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're trying to make sure that's correct. Yeah. And there are places where you can
get licensed.
And take classes.
Yeah, but honestly, for the scooter that we have, like you wouldn't really need classes. It's like riding a bike. Those alerts look really good.
They were good. They were amazing. Like they were not overly sweet. Like the Ruby I had with the red glaze over it, it wasn't really sweet. I mean, it was sweet, but it wasn't overly sweet. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it was just different, but it was better.
Yeah. I moved to Cuenca, visit frequently the ocean. Yeah, if you move to Cuenca, it's not close to the ocean. Don't get me wrong, but you can definitely, if you want to visit the ocean every few months, it's definitely within reason. You're welcome.
What type of camera do you use to shoot your videos in and outdoors? I'm trying to decide if a GoPro is worth it.
So
the GoPro is, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. So what I was gonna say was yes, GoPro. For a lot of the videos, I did get an actual vlogging camera while we were in the States. Nikon. So it depends on where you want to shoot and how you want to shoot. I realized that I just wanted more options, which is why I got the other camera. Also shoot a lot of stuff on cell phone. So if you got a decent cell phone with a decent camera, you can do the majority of shooting. It just depends on where you're shooting and what you want to be shooting. But for the most part, for more than a year, all I had was the phone and my GoPro, and did all the shooting on that, pretty much. So to start out, they're absolutely fine.
Please explain the season. I missed it when shared earlier.
Oh, so it's really just two seasons: rainy season and dry season, or you can say winter and summer. So imagine the United States where winter is 6 months and summer is 6 months. Just here it's the opposite time of year. So right now we're technically in I always get this wrong. This is the dry season.
Right
And-
now it's supposed to be the dry and rainy season.
No.
What are you
It's the dry season, which is cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the dry. So this is the cooler season. So you would call this winter. It's just this year just oddly warm. So between it was around like May and November, December, it's winter here, or the dry season, and then November, December to May is the summer when it's hotter and more sunny, especially on the coast. But since you're right at the equator here, there really isn't like some parts of the country don't see much difference at all, if that makes any sense. Where we are on the coast, there is like it flips. It's different, but it's not like we're not worried about snowflakes or anything. 78 degrees right now. It's pretty cool.
Are you going to visit or stay a bit in Manta?
Yeah, we had planned on it to get back there. We only visited once for a couple of days. It was a weekend, and we didn't really get to see a whole lot. So we do plan on going back. We really like it here. So like going from one beach to another, we have to plan it out and see what we want to do.
Thank you for answering my question. I remember when you first started this channel, you've come a long way and keep getting better and better. Thank you so much.
Thank you. She forces me to get better.
Is there whale watching in Salinas?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We've done it.
Yeah. And
it's whale season right now.
Yes.
Well, it's starting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going. Well, we're almost
Wait,
at
what
the
is
end.
this? Oh yeah.
So yes.
I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like the middle of whale season right now.
So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of splashes from the balcony where we are, and when I get a good visual, I'll get a picture.
Sometimes we'll see the tails come up and everything. Yeah.
Did you miss Sweetie Coffee?
You know
yes.
it. You know it.
Because those Starbucks prices.
Yeah, and we haven't been. We were supposed to go yesterday. We didn't get a chance, but we haven't been since we've been back. We've only been back a week, so we're definitely going to be going to Sweet and Coffee real soon. I got the app on my phone.
Oh, missed it so much. Okay.
Well, we want to thank everyone for all the wonderful questions. Before we wrap up, I want to ask: are there any more questions? And there's one. Encebollado? Yes. It just so happens our friend Stephanie took us to a place that serves excellent encebollado. It was like $2, and it was wonderful. It was like a little street vendor. It was great.
Wherever there's a line,
that's always where the best food is.
Yes.
Yeah. It just so happens that most days we normally just cook breakfast here, so we don't always go out to eat. But yeah, we do like encebollado.
And everyone's encebollado is
not the same.
Not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Anyway, thanks everyone for joining the live stream, and we really appreciate all our subscribers, everyone that has been with us from the beginning, and everyone who's just recently joining us. We really appreciate it. We're just trying to get better at this thing, and grow a community, and hopefully put out some good content. Let's see. I don't eat fish or seafood. Should be interesting. Yeah, it would be. If you come to the coast and you don't eat fish, honestly, anywhere in Ecuador, if you don't eat fish or seafood, I'm not gonna say you're limiting your menu, but you're limiting some of the better dishes on the menu. Jewel wants you to visit, spend some time. Yeah, we visited Jewel last time we were there, which is honestly why we didn't really get to see a lot because we spent so much time with her. We were chilling. Appreciate you guys. Love your videos. Thanks for the live stream. Thank you, Johnny, for being around since the beginning.
Yes.
You're one of the first people we talked to. So yeah, we really appreciate you. So yeah, everyone, like I said, thanks again.
And we'll try to have more live
yeah.
streams in the future.
Yeah, we plan to do them more regularly and with, particular subjects in mind.
Yeah, send us subjects or
Yeah.
things you would like to know about Ecuador. We'll try to get information for you and try to do more live streams in the future.
So thanks again, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
We'll see
all.
you guys next time. Like, share, and subscribe.
Bye.